Finally, the 2023 F1 season is underway, and as fans we have eagerly anticipated this moment. The hype was real for the first race of the season, with uncertainty surrounding Aston Martin's pace and expectations of Mercedes coming back fighting for wins. However, as we now know, the latter did not turn out as expected. So, what can we expect from the Mercedes team for the rest of the season, and how will Hamilton cope with this? That's what we will be discussing in today's episode, so stay tuned and welcome to F1 to the world. As we know, for the past 7 to 8 seasons, Mercedes F1 has been the team to beat in Formula 1. Since the introduction of the hybrid engine in 2014, Mercedes has been almost unbeatable. With class drivers like Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, they won all drivers and constructors championships from 2014 to 2020. However, their winning streak came to an end in 2021 when Red Bull Racing got a competitive car and Max Verstappen could take the challenge to Hamilton for the Drivers' Championship. Then came the 2022 season, where we saw new regulations in F1 with brand new cars, and everyone expected Mercedes and Hamilton to come back firing like never before. But as we now know, that didn't happen. The car Mercedes constructed was simply not competitive, and in the first part of the season, Mercedes was the third fastest car on the grid. They were behind Red Bull and Ferrari, who were the only two teams competing for wins. Although in the second half of the season, Mercedes improved the car significantly, and they were occasionally up there beating the Ferraris. With George Russell winning the penultimate race of the 2022 season, the Brazilian Grand Prix, the hopes of Mercedes fans were high for the 2023 season opener at the Bahrain Grand Prix. One of the problems that Mercedes had last year was the porpoising, which many teams struggled with last year, but the worst team on this was for certain Mercedes. This became very clear to everyone following the sport after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix last year, where we saw Hamilton almost unable to get out of the car after the Grand Prix and clearly struggling with his back after all the bouncing. Many fans thought that the main struggle for the team last year was the porpoising, which meant that they couldn't focus on developing the car, and that they instead had to focus on understanding and getting the porpoising under control. So, most fans thought that when Mercedes got the porpoising under control, they would be up there competing for wins again. Thanks to the new regulations of the 2023 season where all the teams have been forced to raise their cars, the porpoising doesn't seem to be a problem anymore, and they seem to have that problem under control. However, they are still not fast, they have even moved backward, and they now seem to have the fourth fastest car. The three fastest teams now seem to include Aston Martin, Ferrari, and Red Bull. Mercedes, being a large corporation, would have previously developed multiple car concepts to determine the best one. However, due to the budget cap, this is no longer feasible. The budget cap was implemented to prevent larger teams from gaining an unfair advantage over smaller ones. But for Mercedes, this may pose a challenge. Toto Wolff mentioned in an interview after the Bahrain race that they may have to abandon their current zero pods concept and shift towards a concept similar to the other cars on the grid. However, this new concept would require starting from scratch and developing a new car mid-season, which is not an easy task with the budget cap in place. It could effectively mean Mercedes already would have to give up on the championship this year and focus on the 2024 car, which for certain will not be an easy decision to make, especially with Lewis Hamilton on board as a 38-year-old 7-time champion. Hamilton is no longer a young driver at 38 years of age, and at the end of 2023, his contract with Mercedes will come to an end. Could this mean that he could leave the team where he won 6 world championships? Well, it is for certain that Hamilton is no fan of having to drive a car that is not able to be fighting for wins, and the team's recent struggles could influence his decision. Well, for most of us, Hamilton leaving Mercedes have been almost unthinkable. But what spurred the thought of it was an interview Hamilton gave after the race in Bahrain, where Hamilton said the following to the BBC Checkered Flag podcast. Last year I told them the issues that are with the car. I've driven so many cars in my life, so I know what a car needs. I know what a car doesn't need, and I think it's really about accountability. It's about owning up and saying, yeah, you know what? We didn't listen to you. It's not where it needs to be, and we got to work, and look at all the weak points. Although it has to be said that Hamilton said all of this with a smile on his face, and after the race he seemed very happy with the race despite finishing 5th in the race. Even though it has been a bit thought over the last year competitive-wise, The fact that Hamilton has been with Mercedes since 2013 and has won 6 world championships with them does count for a lot. He has also developed close relationships with many members of the team, especially with team principal Toto Wolff. Another factor that could influence Hamilton's decision is the team's potential for improvement. While they have struggled in the past year, Mercedes has a strong track record of developing competitive cars. They have also made significant changes to their technical leadership team, bringing in new personnel who may be able to help the team regain their competitive edge. Ultimately, Hamilton's decision will likely come down to a combination of factors, including his personal goals, his relationship with the team, and the team's potential for success. It is possible that he may decide to explore other options, particularly Ferrari, which he at earlier stages of his career has shown interest of driving for. However, given his long-standing relationship with the team and his strong track record of success with them, it is also possible that he may choose to stay and work with the team to overcome their current challenges. In the end, the future of Hamilton and Mercedes remains uncertain. Fans will have to wait and see how the 2023 season unfolds and what decisions are made in the coming months. However, one thing is certain. With Hamilton's talent and experience and Mercedes' proven ability to develop competitive cars, they will continue to be a force to be reckoned with in Formula One. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more videos like this one, coming every week from now on, and leave a comment with any topics you would like us to cover in future videos.